I'm thrilled to talk to you about the LV1 Classic mixing console from Waves. A lot of you have used Waves products in the past in terms of plugins or maybe a modular LV1 system. Waves has taken all of those concepts, put it into a concise form factor that's super easy to use and a joy to operate. So I want to give you 5 reasons why I think LV1 Classic might be a great solution for your church. The first is value. You know, churches stretch every budget dollar on every piece of gear, and we know how important that is to your ministry. In terms of the just bang for the buck, the feature set, the fact that you've got a 64-channel console with 44 buses, all the plugins you could ever need to create an incredible mix are at your disposal at a price point that blows away the competition. You know, the bang for the buck is really a great reason to consider LV1 Classic, either for a console upgrade or a second console for maybe a church plant or secondary campus or your student ministry. LV1 Classic would be a great choice for your church. The second reason I think LV1 Classic is a great solution for a church is the form factor. You know, we all deal with crowded spaces at front of house and everybody's fighting for real estate between video switchers and pro presenter machines and a producer station. You know, having a console that is this compact, that has the power and capacity that LV1 Classic has, is a great reason to consider it. You know, space is limited, but this is highly portable. So you could take it to a student facility or on a retreat, you know, move it to a different part of your church to do a different kind of event in a very easy way. You know, the cabling is very compact as well. So once you're connected to the network on SoundGrid, it can be anywhere as long as it's connected to that network. So the form factor is the second reason why I think LV1 Classic should be considered. The third reason is expandability. The LV1 Classic comes standard with 16 inputs and 12 outputs in terms of I/O, but it's easy to expand across the SoundGrid network to include other stage boxes and other devices. I've seen churches who've used traditional LV1 systems, the kind that need to be modular, and expand that way. LV1 Classic can do the same thing. So expandability is definitely a reason to consider this desk. The fourth reason that I love LV1 Classic is the plugins. A lot of us have worked with plugins before. LV1 is exclusively plugin based. Things like Waves Tune Real-Time and X Feedback and PSE, the things that we use in our workflow to tackle problem inputs in our workflow, are included with the desk. Not to mention the fact that the channel strip is not locked into a particular filter, EQ, dynamics like most consoles are. This, you can actually put different plugins into any number of channels to create a particular sound for that channel. So if you like the sound of an SSL compressor, you can use that on your drums. If you'd rather have API, you can use that on other inputs. So it's highly adaptable because of the way it manages plugins. It comes with 16 plugins out of the box. You can add any other plugin bundles that you own or buy and utilize all of Waves' 160 plus other plugins in the desk. You know, the fifth reason I think LV1 Classic is a great choice is because of how approachable it is. You know, a lot of people get intimidated by a new piece of gear. I think for a volunteer, especially walking up to this control surface and screen, it's easy for them to feel comfortable in the operation of the desk. It's a very intuitive touchscreen interface, and the controls on the control surface are very simple. You know, some consoles, you feel like you're one button away from where you need to be. This layout is so ergonomic that I have not felt that way about my operation of this since I've been working with LV1 Classic. Even if someone's new to mixing, they can easily pick up basic parameters about mixing on the LV1 Classic. You know, my church has been using LV1 for about 1.5 years, and all of our volunteers are on board and mixing really well every week. You know, it took a little training, but once they got used to the way LV1 is laid out, it was a breeze for them to get up to speed and actually create better mixes than they could before. Our band loves it too. As soon as we plugged in their ears to this I/O, they said, "What has happened?" And nothing really changed. It was just the transparency of the preamps themselves just kind of woke up their in-ear mixes. And then when you pair that with new plugins and new sort of tone capability that the console has to offer, everybody was thrilled. I think LV1 Classic is great for the church space. I think if you're considering an upgrade to your existing system, or you're building a church from scratch and need a great solution for your front of house desk, or your monitor desk, or your broadcast desk, LV1 Classic is a great choice.